Hi, my name is Terry Lee, and this is video 2 in our Owl flip book, and it goes like this. The whole description of it is in video 1, so you can go back and check that out there. I did want to mention that this paper is called Back to Nature by Antiquepaperie, and you can get it at Etsy. Alright, so in this video we're going to cut the manila folders, and then we are going to discuss how the book is put together. So the first thing you want to know is that the paper we will be using in its uncut form is going to be 8 1/8 by 10 5/8, and the reason for that is that it's not 8 1/2 by 11 is when you print it out, it has a small white border around it. I'm looking around for one that has the border, but I think I've cut them all off. I have. Here's some other paper that has, when you print them out, it has a white border. Now this one has an extra big white border. It was a misprint, but anyway, you get the idea. So once you cut it off, then you end up with the 8 1/8 by 10 5/8. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the book in 8 inches tall. So we're going to cut 1/8 off the bottom, and then we're going to make it 5 1/4 inches wide, because that will be just a little bit below our 10 5/8. Okay, so now the manila folder looks like this, and it doesn't matter where the tab is because we will be cutting it off. And I did the ones ahead of time, but I do want to show you one. I figured you didn't want to watch me sit and do this, you know, for all the folders. So you want the fold, so you put the tab in. You're going to have to open your cutter up, because you're going to need to go to 8 inches, because it's going to be 8 inches tall. And then when you cut it, go down. Now my blade is a little dull, so I need a new one. And then go back up again to make sure you got it all, and then you can just toss this off to the side. Now I want to make sure that you, before we go any farther, I want you to keep these, and I've got an example of what you can do with them. You can collage with them, or in this particular case, this is a reclaimed book cover that I'm working on, and I wanted it to look like a fence. So as you can see, it's smooth, you know, straight across on the bottom, and then the top of it kind of just looks like an old fence. And so this is just strips of these manila folders with the tabs cut off, and all I've done to it so far is put gesso on it. So anyway, that's an idea of something you can do with the scraps if you keep them. I have a whole folder full of nothing but those. Alright, so now onto the width. We want the width to be 5 1/4. So we're going to go to 5 1/4. Oops, that's 5 1/2. 5 1/4, and we're going to cut that. And then this one is going to be a little big, so we're going to have to go to 5 1/4 again. Guess what we're going to have? We're going to have a scrap that we should keep. And back, and then back. Forgot to do the double on there. It's cutting pretty smooth for as dull as it is. And then we save this scrap, and this scrap actually opens up. You could use this in a journal somewhere for something. Anyway, alright, so I'm just going to do that one. Now, the next thing you want to know is, I kind of actually wrote my little notes in the wrong order, but we're going to have to decide how many pages we want this to be. Now, I think that we could do a little bit more, and the top would still be thin enough that we can figure out a way to cover the top. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the book is put together by taking 2 file folders, or 2 of our cut file folders, and so you're going to have the cover and page 1, page 2, and then you're going to glue these 2 together, right? And then you'll have page 3 and page 4. So it's going to end up looking like this. So you're going to need to decide if you want a pocket on the side. Now, the pockets on the end are kind of a iffy deal because it's going to be like this, and you don't want, you know, whatever you put in there to fall out. So I did use one in this book, but it's in there very snug. So I doubt that it's going to fall out. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to decide how many pages you want, how thick you want your book. And as we know, I am the paperclip queen. I can't even get it out. And so this is going to be your cover. And I number the pages because you have to take it apart to glue it. So this is going to be page 1. This is going to be 2. And then when you flip it up like this, then you're going to have to glue, whoops, I'm sorry, you're going to have to glue here and glue here. Now, like I said, you want to think about where your pockets are going to be, and I actually forgot to tell you that you'll need a circle punch. There, you can center them. There's a little mark right here, and you can go in halfway. There's a little mark right there, and that's how you get these, where's it at? These thumb pulls. That's how you get those half circles, okay? So you will need one of those. I apologize for not mentioning it sooner. So you want to think about where you want your pockets. I recommend on the sides. Now you're going to have 2 choices about how to make them, one of which we're not going to talk about right now, but the other one is to make a pocket that's between the 2 manila folders, right? So you would just glue around on the 3 sides, and in that case you need to make sure to write, you know, like make an X for no glue. Okay, so we're going to go, right now we're not going to decide on the pockets, we're just going to put it together. So we've got 1, 2, and then we've got 3, and then 4, and then we've got 2 paper clipped together again. So we need to mark it in here. Oops, glue. I'm not used to the overhead camera. Glue. And by the way, this is the last one that's going to be upside down. My webcam is on the way, so I'll be able to film them right side up by turning the camera upside down. 4, 5, 6. Now we've got a paper clip, so we know we've got to write glue. And glue. 7, 8, and I believe in the book that I did before, the example, I believe this was the back cover, but I'm going to add this little bit extra on, and we'll have to figure out what we're going to do. I'm just writing G and G again. I don't think I need to explain every single time. You guys are bright. 8, 9, 10. Now remember, this has I believe it was 6 of the full sheets, so that gives you a total of 12, maybe 4, and there's a total of 8. It doesn't matter either way, because if you think about it, we're going to be putting, you know, things on the pages. So these just kind of decorative sides we'll be able to use more than once, like even this one. And if we cover part of it, it doesn't matter. Okay? So that's how we decide that. We make an executive decision. Okay. So then we've got glue, glue, and then I write, oh, I don't know, maybe this last one is a bit too much. 10. Okay, we'll do it. And then the back. And I usually write cover. Okay, now at this point, we need to label where to glue, like we did, but then we also at this point need to decide where we want to put our pockets. So let's say we want to put a pocket on the side right here. Then we're going to lift this up, we're going to draw our little semicircle, draw it very lightly, and then we're going to put, whoops, don't write it that close to the edge. Do as I say, don't do as I do. And then we're going to write no glue this way. And now you don't need to make the pocket the full size, right? You can do part way and make it a narrower pocket. And then you're also going to want to flip it over this way, and you're going to want to write no glue here, because if you glue it on one side, then you're going to be in trouble on the other side. I hope my head is not in the way. So then we'll go down, and every few we'll make a pocket. Draw lightly, and then inside write no glue. I hope you can see this. And then we want to write no glue. Sometimes you just gotta love these paper clips, huh? No glue. And draw an arrow to the side you don't want to glue. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, I think we might want to make one more pocket. I'm falling apart here. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. And let's make one here. We can make as many tags as we want. It's because I only have them paper clipped on one side. I normally paper clip them on both, but I wanted to be able to write no glue in here and show you how it's done. Okay. And then no glue. And then we also numbered these for another reason. Wow, that is really bad handwriting. We wanted to be able to take it apart because at this point, before we glue, what you are going to do is you are going to ink your little heart out. You're going to ink around all the edges, all four sides. Now, you don't have to do the inside except for where you wrote pocket. You're going to have to do a part, you know, across where you're going to see inside the pocket, and you'll need to do that on both sides. Like, right, like here, where you're going to have a pocket, then you're going to need to ink where you're going to see, so that you don't see the manila folder when you open the pocket. You don't have to do it all the way down, but you just have to do it enough that you don't see. Okay? And then on the rest of the pages, see how we're going to take it apart? On the rest of the pages, all you have to do is ink it all the way around. Okay? Now we got the pocket here. So we're going to have to ink it up. How many pockets do we have? Oh, I made a mistake. This is not a pocket. Or, actually, I didn't need to ink in that far. I didn't make a mistake. I made a mistake in explaining the mistake. Okay, so on the rest of it, as I was saying before I lost my mind, you just have to ink around all the edges Yeah, see, that was a little dull. And then you'll also want to, because you're going to take it apart. Let me show you on the part I took off. Well, okay, let me show you here. On the outside, after you ink around the edges, okay, do it front and back, because or you don't have to do it on the glue ones, but on the ones that are numbered, you need to do all 4 sides. So if it's folded like this, then you're alright. You can just go right across the top. And the reason we do this is if you decide to let any part of the top show, you don't want it to be manila colored. Alright, and then you're going to do it all the way around. And then on the inside, because you will definitely see these, you're going to want to flip it back, and then you're going to want to ink that part as well. Alright? Okay, I'll be back in just a second after I ink all these up, and during that second, which is a second for you, and who knows how long for me inking all that up. I'm sorry if I was off the page. You want to ink right here on the inside and all 4 sides, on the inside and the outside. And you want to make sure to ink up where it says no glue. Okay, so that's your homework for right now, and I'll be back. And this is not the end of this video. We're just going to take a quick commercial break while we all ink everything up, and then we'll be right back. Okay, did you have fun doing that? Well, it took me 2 chapters in my audiobook. I don't know how long it took you, but I'm sure that you are thoroughly pleased with me that I made you do this. And just wait, because when we get to the papers in the next episode or chapter or lesson, whatever you want to call it, you're going to have to do it all over again. So I'm going to show you how to glue a couple of these, and then I'm going to trust you to do the rest. That'll be your homework for you to do until the next one. So now on the ones that you have a pocket, remember, let me unpaperclip it. Yes, I paperclipped them back together. Then you're going to need, now make sure with your numbers, so you have 1, 2, that means you're going to glue these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means these are glue. And if you're going to have a pocket here, then you're going to want to make sure that you inked. Okay? And now when we glue it, we're going to take the other ones out from underneath. Oh, and I took one set off. I took one, I don't remember now. So I'm at a total of 10 pages in the back. I thought that would be enough, because I think any more than that it would be difficult to find, you know, original ways in your very first time to decorate it. Possibly not, probably not. You're probably better at decorating than I am. So, however, I can build anything. I love puzzles. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your glue, and let it get down in there, and you're going to glue on the 3 sides, because you're making a pocket. Now, like I said, you can make the pocket smaller. If you do, then you want to glue around how deep you want the pocket. In this particular case, just for our demonstration here, now normally you would glue just 1, but these are manila folders, so I'm going to say that these glues are going to end up in a little bit different spot. So you can glue both of them just to make sure that it holds together. And then you're just going to glue this one to this one. Make sure they're lined up, because when you get to doing the top, then you want to make sure that everything is as smooth and even as possible. Okay? Now if you're using Fabrifix, you've got a minute to kind of smooch it around. You should have done a bit better job. You can even pull it apart if, like me, you're talking and not paying attention. Plus I tend to stand up when I'm doing these. So I'm I tend to get a little distracted. Okay, that's much better. And now, since this pocket is so big, you don't really have to wait for it to completely dry. Now you see this is still a little crooked. You can cover up some minor, and my blade on my cutter was very dull, so some of them are probably just a smidge crooked. But you can cover most of it with the paper, and most small mistakes. Now, see how this Fabrifix just bubbled out over? The whole point of putting it in one of these softer ones is so that it doesn't do that. I'm going to throw that on here because I don't want to waste it. I'm going to go ahead and glue the next one. That was a lot of glue. Fabrifix is not necessarily the cheapest glue to buy. Now there's no pocket on this one, so you're going to glue all 4 sides. And on this one you're going to glue, let's get it apart really quick. You're going to glue all 4 sides. I have a bad habit of not getting all the way to the corners. Okay, and make sure that you don't glue your top to your bottom. You know, you don't want to glue your bottom. Haha, bad jokes, bad joke alert. Okay, so we're going to try to get it as close as possible on the first try. See, and you see how I had enough time to kind of move that around a little bit. It's better to be off a smidge on the bottom and be very, very close, very, very good on the top. Okay, so on this one where we have the pocket, you can actually kind of see where I inked. Now this is a bit dark ink. It's one shade darker than I did last time, but there's a lot of black in here, and I thought instead of accenting the brown, which brown is very common to do the inking with, that I would accent the black. So now you're going to get your circle punch. You're going to stick it in between there. You're going to put it in. It's hard to tell on the overhead. You're going to put it into that halfway line, and you're going to center it where you want the hole to be, and then you're just going to push down and hope for the best. So there you go. Now you can see why we colored on the inside, because you're going to be able to see it, because when we put the paper on, we're going to do that again. Now technically I would have waited until the paper was on. However, I wanted to show you what to do, which I should have waited and showed you what to do when you put the paper on. Alright, so now you're just going to continue going on. 3, 4, 5, 6, then we're glue, glue. Okay, so just keep doing that until you're done. Make sure to keep an eye. If you've another good way is if you've inked on that side, then you know not to glue that side. Okay, so this actually looks like I made an error. No glue, no glue. Yes, this is not a pocket. I guess I got carried away. So, alright, go ahead and glue here. Okay, because there's no pocket there. The pocket is, wait a minute. Yeah, the pocket is here. No glue and no glue here. We do want to glue all 4. You know what? We don't glue this one at all. Now this is why you want to number them and keep an eye on them, because you see I made a mistake. So if I had paid attention, I would have glued the top of page 8, which we do not want to do. We want to glue in between, and we're going to have a pocket here, it looks like. Yeah, my ink covered it. We're going to have a pocket here, so we're not going to glue here, and we're not going to glue here. Right? And then we've got 9, 10, and the back. So you've only got a couple more to go, and you are allowed to take your paper clips out occasionally. Once you've glued them, you won't need them until we put the paper on. Alright? So that's the end of this video. And when we come back in the next video, we are going to play with paper. Won't that be fun? Alright, I'll see you in the next video, and that will be a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.